Hello and how are you? Hey, friends, welcome to the show. Go to sleep. Am your host, Shenandoah, coming to you from right here in St. Charles, Missouri. Yeah, buddy, it's 3 o'clock. Well, close. Close to the 3 o'clock hour here in St. Charles, Missouri. And anywho, what I was fixing to say is today is Friday, December the 31st, the last day of 2021. So that means we're going to have a happy New Year shout out to y'all. Happy New Year to you. Tonight, midnight, don't forget, celebrate, but not too heavy. Don't drink and drive. Weather is going to be coming in and it's going to be some rough stuff. So be prepared. Don't go out there driving around drinked and drunk because, well, it's not good. Not good. Not good. All right. Anyway, not good. Anyway, I got some birthday shout outs, though. Lots of folks got birthdays today. Kevin and Ken Weber, the both of them. Kevin Weber, Kenny Weber, and Roary Greene Jr. And so anyway, hey, I guess that's lots of folks. 3 people. Say Kevin. Hey Kenny. Hey Rory. Hey Yard. It's your birthday today. So happy birthday, I'm a saint. You know you're a 1 more year older today. So a happy birthday to you. I said, hey Rory. Hey Kenny. Hey Kevin. Hey, I heard it's your birthday today. Oh, that's another trip around the sun that you made. I hope you're enjoying your special day because, well, it's your happy birthday a day today. Happy birthday to you, the 3 of you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have a happy birthday and many more. All right, and that being said, hey, we got some Shen Show likes, sharers, or just lovers or carers of the Shen Show shout outs like Savann, Murphy, Beason, Joyce, and Ernie Hale, Jamie O'Driscoll, Doug Bell, aka Steve Clary, Lori Moore, and Ashley Nichole, Bill Rogers, Shenandoah Ray Bailey Sr., and then my Pokey Pals. A whole list of Pokey Pals today. Not a whole list, but 3 of them. Joseph Marshall, Amanda S. Little, and Mel Stookey. So, those are the Shen Show shout outs for today. Hey. All righty then. All righty then. Oh, man. Father, I just thank you for giving me this opportunity to come on here and spread the word of the gospel to these folks out here. Actually, I just want people to know what it's like to be a Christian. I'm happy to be here. So happy to be here. And, well, you know, if I ever say anything that offends anybody, it's not that I'm meaning to say anything that offends anybody. It's just facts. The facts is the way to heaven is through Jesus Christ, and well, that's about all there is to that. Uh, and there's a few things I point out occasionally about the COVID virus, the COVID vaccine, and the virus, and whatnot, that sort of thing. And there's always other little tidbits of information that I've come up with that kind of throw people off. And well, I hate to offend anybody because, well, that's not quite Christian. But hey, I don't mean for whenever I talk about the COVID vaccines and the numbers. If I give you a quote on what the COVID, I'm freezing to death, folks. If I give you a quote on what the COVID chances of survival of COVID, like 99.96% chance, I'm sorry, 99.94% chance of survival rate, That's just to say, hey, people, if you get COVID, don't worry about don't concentrate on the lower numbers. Concentrate on the big number. God's got you in his pocket. If you concentrate on the big number, then by golly, you're liable to survive much more than if you concentrate on the low numbers. You start concentrating on that 6%. You start concentrating on the 6%, the people that die out there, which is a big number compared, but not compared to the whole population. I mean, yes, sir. 900. Well, let's see what it is exactly. We'll just check it out right here, right now. And say, let's say, 5,451 deaths. Okay. 5,451,000. No, I'm sorry. 5,451,239 deaths from COVID. All right. How many people survived COVID? That's 253,611,535 people that have survived. So you're talking 98% survival rate, folks. 98% survival rate. Now, whenever I was talking about the 99.9, when I talked about the 99.9% chances of survival without getting a vaccine, well, what I was saying is that there are those people that don't get it. They just don't get the virus. Or if they do, they're asymptomatic and they don't know they've got it. So it's like you don't need a vaccine to not necessarily not to get the virus. Now, I tell you what, if you get the vaccine, you are going to have the virus. And the reason you're going to have the virus is that's the way vaccines work. They inject you with the virus so that your body can try to. Sorry about this. It's driving me nuts. So that your body can try to build up an immunity to the vaccine. That's going to drive me nuts. It's probably going to fall out of my head too. But I digress. Anyway, so anytime I ever say that, it's so that you can look on the good side, not the bad side. Go to sleep. My stupid voice activation keeps coming on, and I don't want it on. Anyway, hey, looks like a weather forecast coming up for you. And weather forecast is going to be brought to you today by Refreshing Word Fellowship Church. That's right. Refreshing Word Fellowship Church is a non-denominational Christian church which is located at 2054 Campus Drive here in St. Charles, Missouri, in the 63301 area code. That's right. Right across from Greener's Pub, whichever you may call it. It's an Irish type place right across the road from the church. So anyway, so come on out, 11 a.m. on Sundays and 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. on Thursdays for the hour of power prayer. All right. Well, alrighty then. Here's that weather forecast I was going to tell you about. Let's see. Today it's crept up on to 67 degrees Fahrenheit with partly cloudy skies. High temperatures around 67 degrees Fahrenheit with winds light and variable southwest at about 6 miles per hour. Now cloudy with rain developing after midnight. Low temperatures of 37 degrees Fahrenheit with winds north to northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chances of rain 90%. And then for Saturday, January the 1st, which will be tomorrow, cloudy with occasional rain, some freezing rain later during the day. Much, much colder. High temperatures of 39 degrees Fahrenheit with winds north at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chances of precipitation 100%. And occasional snow showers after night, later on at night, with low temperatures of 16 degrees Fahrenheit, with winds north to northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chances of snow 60%, snow accumulation less than an inch. But with rain above it and snow below it, you're going to have ice. So be prepared. That's why I was saying don't be out there drinking and driving for tonight, because it's not going to be pretty. All right, cloudy skies for Sunday. Sorry about that. The skies are getting kind of dingy right now. Anyway, cloudy skies for Sunday, January the 2nd. Followed by partially clearing skies overnight. Later on during the day. High temperatures of 23 degrees Fahrenheit, winds north to northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Mostly clear sky overnight with low temperatures of 10 degrees Fahrenheit, winds northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for Monday, January the 3rd, 2022, that is, sunny skies with high temperatures getting all the way up to 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are going to be south at 5 to 10 miles per hour with clear skies overnight. Low temperatures are 25 degrees Fahrenheit with winds south to southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for Tuesday, January the 4th, sunny skies along with a few clouds. High temperatures of 47 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds south at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Considerable cloudiness with low temperatures of 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Overnight, winds are going to be west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for our fifth and final day of our 5-day forecast, Wednesday, January the 5th, mainly cloudy skies with high temperatures of 29 degrees Fahrenheit, winds north to northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies overnight with low temperatures of, with late night snows, with low temperatures of 13 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chances of snow 40%. Snowfall around an inch. So, folks, we're going to start getting our snow. That's what's going to start happening. Don't you know it? Snow. Wouldn't you know it's going to snow? Alrighty then. That being said, that was our weather forecast for the St. Charles viewing area. I'm freezing and I'm cold. So, just to let you know, it's cold outside. Boom, boom. Where's your blanket when you need it? Where's your blankets and your towels? Gotta get warmer. Super size now. I'm cold outside. I've got the month of May. No, I don't. My heater ain't on. I've got a heater working by me. It's blowing up by my ribbies, but it ain't warm up here by my shoulders and my neck and my shoulders and my head. I'm freezing, said Fred. All right, hey, let's do a song. How about whoo, ha, woo, ha, song lyrics, Chain Gang. Whoo, ha, whoo, ha, working on the chain gang. Well, that's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. All day they are singing, hoo, ha, hoo, ha. Well, don't you know that's the sound of the men working on the chain gang, working on the chain gang. That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. All day long they work so hard till the sun is going down. Working on the highways and byways and wearing a frown. You hear them mourn their lives away. Then you hear somebody say, oh, wah, hoo, wah. That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. Can't you hear them singing? Ooh, ah, I'm going home on these days. I'm going home to see my woman whom I love so dear. But meanwhile, I gotta work right here. Ooh, wah, ooh, wah. That's the sound of the men working on a chain gang. That's the sound of the men working on a chain gang. All day long they're singing, my work is so hard, give me water. I'm thirsty, my work is so hard. Wow, my work's so hard. And well, whatever. It's not exactly the way that song goes, but I'm so cold, I don't care. I don't know what else I usually talk about, but hey, let's talk about the thrift shop, right? Okay. Helping Hands Thrift Shop in Foster Care Closet is located at 416 South 5th Street, St. Charles, Missouri, ran by Bev uh, Evans. And then just a couple doors up from there would be 424 South 5th Street, where Good Times Smoke Shop and Apparel is located, and they are that's ran by Tim Evans. So good place to go. Both of them. Both of them. All right. All righty then. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump on up to over to story time for the kids because well I'm freezing, and I'm gonna wrap this up a little early today. And anyway, we've got My Father's Dragon. We're still going strong. We're on chapter 7 of My Father's Dragon. And so here we go. My father waved goodbye to the rhinoceros, and who was much too busy to notice. He got a drink. And father down to notice. Got a drink farther down the brook and waded back to the trail. He hadn't gone very far when he heard an angry animal roaring. Dang, blast it! I told you not to go blackberry yesterday. Won't you ever learn? What will your mother say? My father crept along and peered into a small clearing just ahead. A lion was prancing about, clawing at his mane, which was all snarled and full of blackberry twigs. The more he clawed, the worse it became, and the madder he grew, and the more he yelled at himself, because it was himself he was yelling at the time. Wow. The he crawled and he yelled and grew louder and louder. And just as he was about to reach the trail on the other side, the yelling suddenly stopped. My father looked around and saw the lion glaring at him, while the lion charged and skidded to a stop a few inches away. Who are you? The lion yelled at my father. My name is Elmer Elevator. Where do you think you're going? Well, I'm going home, said my father. That's what you think, said the lion. Ordinarily, I save you for afternoon tea, but I happen to be upset enough and hungry enough to eat you right now. And he picked up my father in his paws to feel how fat he was. My father said, Oh, please, lion, before you eat me, tell me why you are so particularly upset today. Well, it's my mane, said the lion, as we as he was figuring how many bites a little boy would make. And you see what a dreadful mess it is. And I don't seem to be able to do anything about it. My mother is coming over on the dragon this afternoon, and if she sees me this way, I'm afraid she'll stop my allowance. She can't stand messy manes, but I am going to eat you now, so it won't make any difference to you. Oh, wait a minute, said my father, and I'll give you just the thing you need to make your mane all tidy and beautiful. I have them here in my pack. You do, said the lion. Well, give them to me, and perhaps I'll save you from afternoon tea after all. And he put my father down on the ground. My father opened the pack and he took out the comb and the brush and the 7 hair ribbons of different colors. Look, he said, I'll show you what to do on your forelock. Well, where you can watch me. And first you brush a while, and then you comb, and then you brush again until all the twigs and snarls are all gone. Then you divide it up in 3 and braid it like this and tie a ribbon around the end. My father was doing this, and the lion watched very carefully and began to look much happier. When my father tied on the ribbons, he was all smiles. Oh, that's wonderful, really wonderful, said the lion. Let me have the comb and brush and see if I can do it. So my father gave him the comb and the brush, and the lion began busily grooming his mane. And as a matter of fact, he was so busy that he didn't even notice my father had left. Hmm. And so that brings us to chapter 8. My father meets a gorilla. Well, my father was very hungry, so he sat down under a baby of banyan tree of on the side of the trail and ate 4 tangerines. He wanted to eat 8 or 10, but he had only 13 left, and it might be a long time before he could get more. Well, he packed away all the peels and was about to get up when he heard the familiar voices of the boars. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen them with my own eyes. But wait and see for yourself. All the tigers are sitting around chewing gum in to beat the band. Old Rhinoceros is busy brushing his tusk, and that he doesn't even look around to see who's going by. And they're all so busy they won't even talk to me. Horse feathers, said the other boar, now very close to my father. They'll talk to me. I'm going to get to the bottom of this, if it's the last thing I do. Well, the voices passed my father and went on around the curve, and he hurried on because he knew how much more upset the boars would be when they saw the lion's mane tied up in ribbons. Well, before long, my father came to a crossroads and he stopped to read the signs. Straight ahead, an arrow pointed to the beginning of the river. To the left, the ocean rocks, and to the right, the dragon ferry. And my father was reading all these signs when he heard paw prints and ducked behind this signpost. Well, a beautiful lioness paraded past and turned down towards the clearing. Although she could have seen my father if she had bothered to glance at the posts, but she was much too occupied looking delightful to see anything but the tip of her own nose. And it was the lion's mother, of course, and uh, my father, my father must mean that the dragon was on this side of the river. Well, he hurried on, but it was further away than he had judged, and he finally came to the riverbank at late afternoon and looked all around, but there was no dragon anywhere in sight. He must have gone back to the other side. My father sat down under a palm tree and was trying to have a good idea when something big and black and hairy jumped out of the tree and landed with a loud crush at his feet. Well, said the huge voice. Well, what? Said my father, for which he was very sorry when he looked up and discovered that he was talking to an enormous and very fierce gorilla. Well, explain yourself, said the gorilla. I'll give you till 10 to tell me your name, business, your age, and what's in that pack. And he began counting to 10 as fast as he could. My father didn't even have time to say Elmer Elevator Explorer before the gorilla interrupted. Too slow. I'll twist your arms off the way I twist that dragon's wings, and then we'll see if you can't hurry up a bit. So he grabbed my father's arms and one in each fist and was just about to twist them when suddenly he let go and began scratching his chest with both hands. Blasted those fleas, he raged. They won't give you a moment's peace. And the worst is that you can't even get a good look at them. Rosie Rhoda, Rachel, Ruthie, Ruby, Roberta, come here and get rid of these fleas on my chest. It's driving me crazy. And so 6 little monkeys tumbled out of the palm tree, dashed to the gorilla, and began combing the hair on his chest. Well, said the gorilla, it's still there. We're looking, said the 6 little monkeys, but they're awfully hard to see, you know. Well, I know, said the gorilla, but hurry, I've got work to do. And he winked at my father. Oh, gorilla, said my father, in my knapsack I have 6 magnifying glasses. They'd be just the thing for your hunting fleas. My father unpacked them and gave them to Rosie, one to Rhoda, one to Rachel, one to Ruthie, and one to Ruby, and one to Roberta. Why, they are miraculous, said the 6 monkeys. It's easy to see these fleas now, only There are hundreds of them, and they went on hunting frantically. Well, a moment later, many more monkeys appeared out of the nearby clump of mangroves and began crowding around to get a better look at these fleas through the magnifying glass. They completely surrounded the gorilla, and he could not see my father, nor did he remember to twist his arms off. Well, next, my father makes a bridge. Okay, well, my father walked back and forth along the bank trying to think of some way to cross the river, and he found a huge flagpole with a rope going over to the other side. The rope went through a loop at the top of the pole and then down the pole and around the large crank, and a sign of the crank said, "To summon dragon, yank the crank. Report disorderly conduct to the gorilla." For what the cat had told me, my father, he knew that the other end of the rope was tied around the dragon's neck, and he felt sorrier than ever for the poor dragon. If he was on this side, the gorilla would twist his wings until it hurt so much that he'd have to fly to the other side. So if he were on the other side, the gorilla would crank the rope until the dragon would either choke to death or fly back to this side. What a life for a baby dragon. Well, my father knew that if he could call to the dragon to come across the river, the gorilla would surely hear him, and so he thought about climbing the pole and going across on the rope. Well, the pole was very high, and even if he could get to the top without being seen, he'd have to go all the way across hand over hand, and the river was very muddy, and all sorts of unfriendly things might live in it. But my father could think of no other way to get across, and he was about to start up the rope or the pole when, despite all the noise the monkeys were making, he heard a loud splash behind him. He looked all around in the water, but it was dusky and dusk now, and he couldn't see anything there. "It's me, Mr. Crocodile," said a voice to the left. "Well, the water's lovely, and I have such a craving for something sweet. Won't you come in for a swim?" A pale moon came out from behind the clouds, and my father could see what the voice was coming from. Yes, the crocodile's head was just peeping out of the water. "Oh, no, thank you, sir," my father said. "I'll never swim after sundown, but I do have something sweet to offer you. Perhaps you would like a lollipop, and perhaps you have friends who would like a lollipops too." "Lollipops?" said the crocodile. "Wow, that is a treat. How about it, boys?" Well, a whole chorus of voices shouted, "Hurrah, lollipops!" And my father counted as many as 17 crocodiles with their heads just peeping out of the water. "Well, that's fine," said my father, and as he got out the 2 dozen pink lollipops and rubber bands, "I'll stick one here in the bank. Uh, Lollipops last longer if you keep them dry, or if you keep them out of the water, you know. And now, one of you can have this one." Well, the crocodile who had first spoke kind of swam up and tasted it. "Delicious, mighty delicious," he said. "Now, if you don't mind," said my father, "I'll just walk along your bank and fasten another lollipop to the tip of your tail with a rubber band. You don't mind, do you? You're 5 minutes late for work, Craig. Well, I know you're off of work right now, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, oh no, no, not at all, not in the least, said the crocodile. Can you get your tail out of the water just a bit? Asked my father. Yes, of course, said the crocodile, and he lifted up his tail. And then my father ran along the back and fastened another lollipop with a rubber band to the alligator's tail. Who's next? Said my father, and a second crocodile swam up and began sucking on that lollipop. Now, you gentlemen can save a lot of time if you just line up across the river, said my father, and I'll be along to give you each a lollipop. And so the crocodiles lined up right across the river with their tails in the air, waiting for my father to fasten on the rest of the lollipops to the tails of the 17 crocodiles just reached over the bank. Well, then, next chapter, chapter 10, my father finds the dragon. Well, when my father was crossing the back of the 15th crocodile with two more lollipops to go, the noise of the monkeys suddenly stopped, and he could hear a much bigger noise getting louder every second. Then he could hear 7 furious tigers and 1 raging rhinoceros and 2 seething lions and 1 ranting gorilla, along with countless screaming monkeys, led by 2 extremely irate wild boars, all yelling, "It's a trick! It's a trick! There's an invasion, and it must be after our dragon. Kill it! Kill it!" The whole crowd stampeded down to the banks. But as my father was fixing the 17th lollipop to the last crocodile, he heard a wild boar scream. "Look, it came this way. It's over there now. See, the crocodiles made a bridge for it." And just as my father leapt onto the other bank, one of the wild boars jumped onto the back of the first crocodile. My father didn't he have a moment to spare. By now, the dragons realized uh, that my father was coming to rescue him, and he ran out of the bushes and jumped up and down, yelling, here I am, right here. Can you see me? Hurry, the boar is coming over the crocodiles." And two crocodiles too, and they're all coming over on. Please hurry. The noise was simply terrific. Well, my father ran up to the dragon and took out his very sharp jackknife. "Steady, old boy," said. "Steady, we'll make it. Just stand still," he told the dragon as he began to saw through the big rope. Well, by the time both boars, all 7 tigers and 2 lions, the rhinoceros and the gorilla, along with the countless screeching monkeys, were all on their way across the crocodiles, and there was still a lot of rope to cut through. "Oh, hurry," the dragon kept saying, and my father again told him to stand still. "If you don't think I can make it," said my father, "we'll fly over to the other side of the river, and I can finish cutting the rope there." Well, suddenly the screaming grew louder and madder, and my father thought the animals must have crossed the river. He looked around and saw something which surprised and delighted him, partly because he had finished his lollipop, and partly because as I told you before, crocodiles are very moody and not at least bit dependable, and are always looking for something to eat. The first crocodile had turned away from the bank and started swimming down the river. The second crocodile hadn't finished yet, and so he followed right after the first, and still sucking his lollipop. At the rest of the did the same on one right after the other until they were all swimming away in a line. The two wild boars, the seven tigers, the rhinoceroses, the two lions, the gorilla, along with the countless screeching monkeys, were all riding down the middle of the river on a train of crocodiles, sucking pink lollipops, and all yelling and screaming and getting their feet wet. My father and the dragon just laughed themselves weak because it was such a silly sight. As soon as they had recovered, my father finished cutting the rope, and the dragon raced around in circles and tried to turn a somersault. He was the he was the most excited baby dragon that had ever lived. My father was in a hurry to fly away, and when the dragon finally a bit, calmed down a bit, my father climbed up onto its back. All aboard, said the dragon. Where shall we go? We'll spend the night on the beach, and tomorrow we'll start on the long journey home. So it's off to the shores of Tangerine, shouted my father, and as the dragon soared above the dark jungle and the muddy river and all the animals bellowing and yelling at them, and at the crocodiles licking lollipops and grinning wide grins. And after all, what did the crocodiles care about the way to cross the river? And what a fine feast they were carrying on their backs. As my father and the dragon passed over the ocean rocks, they heard a tiny, excited voice scream, Bum crackle! Bum crack! We dread our Megan. We need our dragon. But my father and the dragon knew that nothing in the world would ever make them go back to the wild island. The end. And that, my children, were the story time with TV Grandpa. All right. Next year, we're going to try to start something new. We're going to try to start reading Bible stories so that we can enlighten the children's Christian values, if at all possible. So we're going to try that next year. Okay. All righty then. Looks like a daily bread portion of the program. And the daily bread portion of the program is going to be brought to you today by the Bible with Briscoe 2021. The Bible with Briscoe 2021 is a daily reading of the Bible to be completed within 1 year. Today's reading in the Bible with Briscoe 2021 will be Malachi 1 through 4 and Revelation 22, which will conclude the Bible with Briscoe for the year. The Bible with Briscoe 2021. So tomorrow we'll be starting the Bible with Briscoe 2022, which will be starting out with Genesis and Matthew. So anyway, today's devotion is one day closer to Christmas. Philippians 3:15 through 21. So here we go. All of us, then, who are mature, should take such a view of things. And if on some point you think differently, that too God will make clear to you. Only let us live up to what we have already attained. Join together in following my example, brothers and sisters, and just as you have us as a model, keep your eyes on those who live as we do. For, as I have often told you before, and now tell you again, even with tears, many lives as many live as enemies of the cross of Christ. Their destiny is destruction. Their God is their stomach, and their glory is their shame. Their mind is set on earthly things, but our citizenship is in heaven, and we eagerly await a Savior from there, the Lord Jesus Christ, who, by the power that enables him to bring everything under his control, will transform our lowly bodies so that they will be like his glorious body. Philippians 3:15 through 21, one day closer to Christmas. And I guess I wouldn't say Christmas. I'd say Christian show. One day closer to becoming a Christian is the way I would call that. Anyway, that was the Daily Bread portion of the program that was brought to you today by the Bible with Briscoe 2021, which concludes the Shen show for the day. I've got one more song for you, and that would be "Hello, goodbye, my friends. It's time to go. I say goodbye, my friends. It's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must go. So goodbye, my friends. Goodbye. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye. Hey, that's it for the Shen Show 2021. We won't be back again. We will be back again next year as the Shen Show 2022. But that's all right. I digress. Don't forget to come back and see us tomorrow because, well, we'll be here. You know, God loves you and so do I. And we'll be here. So we hope that you are too. Bye now.